Okay, so when you're thinking about that next big trip, you got to ask yourself, are you maybe
Leaving money on the table.
yeah, are you leaving money on the table?
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. We are going deep into the world of travel credit cards.
In this deep dive.
Yeah, in this deep dive. And this is as of April 2025, so everything is very up to date.
Yeah, brand new.
So we've got a curated list here of like expert recommendations on all this stuff. And, the whole point is to understand how you might be able to get the most out of your rewards and all those perks that come with these cards.
Maximize what you can get.
Right. I mean, let's be honest, it feels like there are just a ridiculous number of these cards out there.
Just overwhelming.
Yeah, and every single one of them says they're giving you the best rewards and the best perks.
Right, of course.
So today, I think our goal is to really just cut through all that noise.
Get to the heart of it.
Yeah, and pull out what's actually important, what's really going to make a difference for you.
The insights that matter.
Yeah, and the one that seems to be leading the pack, at least according to all the experts, is the Chase Sapphire Preferred card.
Oh, yeah, the Sapphire Preferred.
A classic.
It's a classic, and they say it's especially good for folks who are new to travel rewards.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And, I can see why, because they really highlight how flexible it is when you're redeeming your points. Oh, that's a big deal, especially when you're just starting out with these reward programs.
Exactly. You're not stuck with only one option.
Right. Exactly. You want options. And with the Sapphire Preferred, you can redeem those points for flights, you can get hotels, or even just use them as a statement credit. So you've got that freedom to choose what works best for your trip.
So what about the rewards themselves? What are we talking about there?
So the rewards structure with the Sapphire Preferred is pretty attractive. Okay, so listen to this. You get 5 times the points, 5x points on any travel you book through Chase Travel. That's their online portal. Then you get 3x points on dining, always a good one, streaming services, which, let's be real, everyone's using nowadays, and even online grocery purchases.
Oh, wow. So those everyday expenses can really start to rack up the points.
Exactly. And then to round it out, you get 2x points on all other travel purchases.
It's $95 a year for this card, right?
That's the annual fee, yes.
Which seems, pretty reasonable considering all those categories where you're earning more points.
Yeah, definitely seems in line with what other cards offer. But here's where it gets really interesting. As of April 2025, there's this limited time sign-up bonus that the experts are buzzing about. They're really excited about this.
Okay, so what is it?
You ready for this? It's a whopping 100,000 bonus points after you spend $5,000 in the first 3 months.
Wow, that's a huge number of points.
It's huge. And the really significant thing is the value. They're worth $1,250.
So essentially, you're getting a big chunk of your travel paid for just by signing up.
Pretty much, especially if you can comfortably meet that spending requirement. And that limited time aspect, that definitely adds a little pressure, right? Like, if you're thinking about getting a new travel card, this bonus makes it really tempting to jump on it now.
For sure. And historically, haven't these big bonuses always been the best value you get from a card, especially in that first year?
Absolutely. When you factor in that $95 annual fee, this bonus essentially covers the card's cost for over a decade.
Right.
That's pretty incredible. It makes it a very compelling offer, as long as you can actually hit that spending requirement.
Okay, so moving on. What's the next card in this best overall category?
All right, so next up is the Capital One Venture Rewards credit card. This one is all about simplicity. It's a flat rate rewards card, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of all these complicated bonus categories.
Oh, I see. So it's just straightforward earning no matter what you buy.
Exactly. Simplicity can be a huge plus, right? So with the Venture Rewards, you get 5 miles per dollar. They use miles instead of points on hotels and car rentals that you book through Capital One Travel, and then a consistent 2 miles per dollar on all other purchases. So no matter what you're buying, you're racking up those travel rewards.
And what about the annual fee? Is that the same as the Chase Sapphire Preferred?
Yeah, it is. The Venture Rewards also has a $95 annual fee.
Okay, so Capital One calls them miles, right?
Yeah.
But they work like points.
Yeah, they work basically the same way. You can redeem them as a statement credit against travel purchases, or transfer them to Capital One's partner loyalty programs. It gives you a decent amount of flexibility in how you use them.
Got it. So does Capital One have any other cards in this overall category?
They do, actually. They have a slightly more premium option called the Capital One Venture X Rewards credit card.
Venture X. Okay, so what makes this one more premium?
Well, it's designed for those who travel a bit more often, the more frequent flyers, and it really amps up the perks and the rewards. Like the reward structure is pretty impressive. You get 10 miles per dollar on hotels and rental cars booked through Capital One Travel. That's double the Venture Rewards card. And then a very nice 5 miles per dollar on flights booked through their portal as well. And you still get 2 miles per dollar on all your everyday spending.
Wow, so you're really earning a lot more miles with this card, but I'm guessing that comes with a higher annual fee.
You got it. The Venture X has a $395 annual fee, so it's a bigger upfront cost, but you're getting a lot more in return, especially if you travel enough to make the most of those benefits. It's all about finding the right fit for your travel style and spending habits.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit now. Let's talk about those luxury travel cards.
Yes. The luxury cards. These are for the frequent traveler or maybe just the traveler who really appreciates those high-end perks and wants a more, I guess, luxurious experience overall.
Right, it goes beyond just earning points, right?
Exactly. With luxury cards, you're often getting a whole suite of benefits that can really enhance your trips, from airport lounge, access to travel credits, to more comprehensive insurance coverage and things like that.
Okay, so when you think of luxury travel cards, what name comes to mind first?
Oh, for me, it's got to be the Platinum card from American Express. I mean, it's just iconic.
It's the classic, yeah.
A classic. And consistently, our sources highlight the exceptional lounge access you get with this card. Think the Centurion lounges, which are known for their amazing amenities, and you also get access to the Priority Pass network, which has lounges all over the world.
Yeah, the lounge access alone is a huge perk, especially if you're someone who spends a lot of time in airports.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, you've got a variety of travel credits and other premium perks that can really add up.
Okay, but what about the actual rewards? What are you earning with this card?
So the reward structure is a bit more focused mainly on flights. You get 5x membership rewards points on any flights you book directly with airlines or through AmexTravel.com, their online travel portal.
Got it. But I'm assuming with all these luxury perks, we're talking about a pretty hefty annual fee, right?
You are absolutely right. The Platinum card from American Express comes with a $695 annual fee, so it's a significant investment. And this is where you really have to assess whether those high-end perks actually align with your travel style and frequency. You know, if you only travel once or twice a year, that might be a tough cost to justify.
It's a good point. You really have to weigh the value of those perks against the cost.
Exactly. Because even though those perks sound incredible, $695 is a lot of money. For someone who only travels occasionally, maybe a less expensive card and then just paying for specific services as needed might be a better option.
So what's another big name in the luxury travel card space?
Well, another card that consistently gets high praise from our sources is the Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Ah, yes, the Reserve. Another one with those high-end perks that a lot of travelers are looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Sapphire Reserve, you're looking at benefits like travel credits, Priority Pass lounge access, so that's similar to the Amex Platinum, and then something pretty valuable. You get a higher point redemption value when you use your points for travel through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal. So basically, your points are worth more when you redeem them for travel through Chase compared to other redemption options.
Okay, that's a nice advantage.
Yeah.
And what about the reward structure for everyday purchases?
So the rewards are pretty strong. You get 3x points on all travel and dining worldwide.
And what's the annual fee for the Reserve?
It's $550. So it's still up there in that premium tier, but a bit less than the Amex Platinum.
Right, so you've got both of these cards, the Amex Platinum and the Chase Sapphire Reserve, both focusing on these really premium travel experiences, both offering valuable lounge access, but of course, to different networks.
Exactly. So when you're comparing these two, the Platinum and the Reserve, you're really looking at a trade-off between the specific perks each one offers and how well those perks fit into your individual travel patterns. It's about the nuances. Do you prefer the Amex network of lounges or Chase's higher point value when you redeem for travel?
That's a good way to look at it. But I think for a lot of people, even that $550 annual fee on the Reserve can be a little intimidating.
I hear you. That's a chunk of change. But the good news is you don't have to shell out a lot of money for a travel credit card. There are some fantastic options out there that come with no annual fee at all.
Right, no annual fee. Those are magic words.
They are, aren't they? And what's really cool is this no annual fee category has become super competitive, so you can find some surprisingly good rewards and benefits without having to pay that yearly fee.
So which card seems to be leading the pack in this no annual fee category?
Well, a lot of our sources are pointing to the Capital One Venture One Rewards credit card. They highlight that it offers really solid rewards, especially for travel purchases, and all of that without an annual fee.
Okay, so you're not sacrificing rewards just because you're not paying that annual fee.
Exactly. So with the Venture One, you're earning 1.25 miles per dollar on all your purchases. That's a pretty decent flat rate for a no annual fee card. And you still get that boost of 5 miles per dollar on hotels and car rentals booked through Capital One Travel. So it keeps that consistency with their other cards.
I see, yeah. And is there a sign-up bonus with the Venture One?
There is. You can get 20,000 bonus miles after you spend $500 in the first 3 months, which they say is equivalent to about $200 in travel. So it's a nice little bump to get you started.
Yeah, not bad at all for a card with no ongoing cost.
And another thing that makes the Venture One really valuable is that it doesn't have any foreign transaction fees. So if you travel internationally, this is a big plus.
Oh yeah, those fees can really sneak up on you.
They can. And the fact that you can transfer those miles to over 15 different travel loyalty programs is great for flexibility. So you're not just stuck with one airline or one hotel chain.
Okay, so what's another good option in the no annual fee category?
Another one that stands out is the Bank of America Travel Rewards credit card. This one is considered perfect for beginners. It's got a very straightforward earning structure, so it's easy to understand.
Okay, keep it simple. I like it.
Right, no need to overcomplicate things. So you earn an unlimited 1.5 points per dollar spent on all purchases, and then that goes up to 3 points per dollar on travel booked through the Bank of America Travel Center.
And what about a sign-up bonus?
They've got a good one, too. You can earn 25,000 points after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. And they say that's worth about $250 in travel. So it's a little higher than the Venture One's bonus. Yep, that's a big plus for both of them. And the Bank of America Travel Rewards card has another nice feature. The points don't expire. So if you're someone who travels less frequently, you don't have to worry about losing your points if you don't use them right away.
Okay, good to know. What else is out there in the no annual fee world?
Well, we've got the Wells Fargo autograph card. This one is really interesting because it offers a really wide range of bonus categories.
Okay, wide range. Tell me more.
So get this, you earn 3x points on travel, which you'd expect, but also dining, gas stations, transit, streaming services, and even your phone plan. That's a lot of potential to earn bonus points on your everyday spending.
Wow, that's a pretty comprehensive list.
It is, and the sign-up bonus is pretty competitive too. 20,000 bonus points after you spend $1,000 in the first 3 months. That's worth about $200. And like the other no annual fee cards we've talked about, it also has no foreign transaction fees.
So the autograph card is really positioning itself as a good option for like maximizing rewards on those everyday things without having to commit to that annual fee.
Exactly. That wide range of 3x categories is a big draw.
It is. All right, so what's the last card in this no annual fee lineup?
So last but not least, we have the Hilton Honors American Express card. This one is specifically for those who love Hilton hotels. If you stay at Hilton's a lot and want to earn rewards within their loyalty program, this card is a good option.
Okay, so this is one of those co-branded cards.
Exactly. And these can be really valuable if you're loyal to a specific hotel brand. You get 7x Hilton Honors points for every dollar you spend at Hilton properties, which is a lot. Plus, you get 5x points at U.S. restaurants, supermarkets, and gas stations, and then 3x on all other purchases.
So even if you're not staying at a Hilton, you're still earning decent rewards.
Exactly. And the sign-up bonus is pretty sweet if you're a Hilton fan. 70,000 Hilton Honors points, plus a free night reward after you spend $2,000 in the first 6 months.
Wow, so you can basically get a free night just for signing up and using the card a little bit.
Pretty much. And then, as an extra perk, you get complimentary Hilton Honors Silver status just for having the card.
So if you're a Hilton person, this card seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, if Hilton is your go-to hotel, it's definitely worth considering. It's got great earning potential within their program and some good bonuses on those everyday purchases. So across these no annual fee cards, there's a bit of a trade-off, right?
Right.
Some are flat rate rewards, others are more about those broad bonus categories, and then you've got your brand-specific cards like that Hilton one. So it really boils down to figuring out which one of those approaches works best for how you spend your money.
All right, I think it's time to move on to those specialized travel cards.
Yeah, let's dive into those. So these cards are designed to be really good in specific areas. So if you know that most of your spending falls into one or two particular categories, you can really take advantage of those high rewards rates.
It's all about maximizing those rewards, right?
Absolutely. The more you can tailor your card to how you spend, the more you're going to get back in return.
Okay, so which one of these specialized cards should we talk about first?
So the first one that comes up is the American Express Gold Card. The sources are really emphasizing how good this card is for earning rewards on dining and everyday spending, particularly restaurants and U.S. supermarkets.
Okay, so foodies, take note.
Right. So listen to this reward structure. 4x membership rewards points, that's 4 times the points at restaurants worldwide and U.S. supermarkets, plus 3x points on flights booked directly with airlines or through AmexTravel.com.
Okay, so if you're someone who dines out a lot or spends a big chunk of their budget on groceries, this could be a good one, but there's an annual fee, right?
Yeah, the American Express Gold Card has a $325 annual fee. So like we've been saying, you've got to weigh that cost against the potential rewards you'd earn. If you're a big spender in those bonus categories, like restaurants and supermarkets, then those 4x points can add up fast, and it could easily outweigh the annual fee, especially when you consider how valuable those Amex membership rewards points can be.
Okay, so last but not least, tell me about the Citi Strata Premier Card.
All right, the Strata Premier. This one is known for its triple points, 3x points, across a bunch of pretty useful everyday categories.
Okay, triple points. That sounds good. What are the categories?
So you get 3x points on dining, another good one for foodies gas stations, and even electric vehicle charging stations, which, you know, with more and more people driving EVs these days, that could be a big plus.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Any mention of a sign-up bonus?
They do mention a solid sign-up bonus, but they didn't get into specifics in our overview source.
Okay, fair enough. What's the annual fee for the Strata Premier?
It's $95, so it falls right in line with some of those best overall travel cards we talked about earlier.
Okay, so not too bad.
Nope, it's a pretty manageable fee, especially if you spend a decent amount in those triple point categories.
Right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about best overall travel cards, luxury options, those fantastic no annual fee cards, and those specialized cards. But now, for you, the listener, what are some of the key takeaways? How do you actually choose the right card?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right? How do you sift through all this information and figure out which card is actually best for your wallet and your travel goals?
So what's the most important thing people should be considering?
Honestly, the first thing you've got to do is take a good, hard look at your own travel habits. How often do you travel? Are you jet-setting every other week, or do you take a couple of trips a year?
Right, and how long are those trips? Are you a weekend getaway person or more of a 2-week vacation kind of traveler?
Exactly. And then think about your spending, too. Where does most of your money go each month? Do you eat out a lot? Do you spend a ton on groceries? Travel itself? All of that factors into which card is going to give you the most bang for your buck.
Okay, and building on that, you really have to look at that annual fee, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Does it make sense for you to pay that fee based on the benefits you'll actually use? Like, a card with a big annual fee might come with amazing lounge access and all kinds of travel credits. But if you rarely travel, or you don't care about those perks, then maybe a card with a lower fee, or even no annual fee at all, is a much better financial move.
Absolutely. Don't get blinded by those flashy rewards rates or those big, juicy sign-up bonuses. Really think about it. Can you actually meet those spending requirements for the bonus? And do the ongoing benefits actually match up with how you live and how you travel?
So those are all really important things to think about before you jump into any of these cards. And for our listeners who are planning on taking their travels international, there's one thing I think is super important.
What's that?
Those foreign transaction fees.
Oh, yeah. Those can be killer.
They can really add up. So look for cards that don't charge them. It's a simple way to save yourself some money when you're traveling abroad.
Totally agree. I mean, they're basically a hidden cost that a lot of people don't even realize they're paying until they get their statement. So if you're planning to use your card overseas, that's definitely something to look for.
There it is, folks. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.